Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the video where I show you guys my method and how I take notes to memorize and encode as much information that I can extract from this video tutorial right here easily and efficiently without feeling cognitively overloaded or stressed out. Memorizing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu techniques is hard and complex, so I made it easier for myself because I believe the more knowledge that I am able to memorize and retain effectively, the more efficient and enriching it becomes to build skill from that knowledge by using kinesthetic learning later on when I get the chance to train at my gym. In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, kinesthetic learning is all about learning through movement and hands-on practice. So instead of just watching someone demonstrate a technique or listening to instructions, you learn by physically drilling moves, rolling with a partner, and feeling how your body and your opponent body reacts. This type of learning helps build muscle memory, improves timing, and develops an intuitive understanding of techniques through repetition and real-life applications during sparring. So whatever type of kinesthetic learning or methods there are in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whether it is ecological or the traditional way of training, I believe my method can make the experience to do them even more efficient and enriching thing to do. Back when I was a beginner grappler, doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu every time was a constant struggle because I had constant memory problems. So I at least want to get over that bad type of struggle of always having memory fog and forgetting Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu techniques and start having a good type of struggle of finally reaching to a point of having enough foundational knowledge built to actually have fun and improve from my struggles that I may face on the mats. I believe acquiring knowledge is the first step to developing skill. The second step is knowledge with practice comes skill, and I use my method to help me build my knowledge faster and easier so that I can have more time, energy, and enjoyment to put to practice to develop the skill more efficiently for myself. Think of it like learning a language. Immersion is key, but having a structured way to remember the vocabulary effectively helps make speaking and adapting to real conversations easier. I am hoping my method can help practitioners retain techniques easier so that they can spend more time and energy on execution rather than struggling to remember. To get the full detail on everything about my method, I have a 4-hour video explaining everything about it, my reasons for making it, how it works, and all about the learning methods that I use and combine together to create this one method to memorize Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu techniques easy and convenient. So check it out. But if you are too lazy to watch a 4-hour video, YouTube has this AI ask tool that you can click under the 4-hour video and ask anything about my method. It does a great job of compiling all the research and information that I put into that video and answering any questions that you may have about my method. I encourage you to try it out, ask anything, ask how and why was the method created, and it will answer back. But overall, I consider my method to be a study tool that I use to memorize and retain techniques anytime and anywhere I want without needing to drill or show up to my gym. Show me a technique and I'll show you guys how I memorize it. For this video, I'll be checking out the wrist controls to triangles by Danaher, and I'll try to memorize everything I can from it. Here I have my Anki app open, ready to start my method. I already have the front of the card filled out with the source and name. The source is YouTube, the channel is BJJ Fanatics, and the name is Wrist Controls to Triangles by Danaher. And now it's time to work on the back of the card where I start my process. For this process, I'll be using two different types of learning methods called chunking and the pattern method, where first I break the large complex information that I am confronted with in this video tutorial right here into more simple pieces by using the chunking method, and then second, arrange those pieces into a different form where it becomes like a puzzle for my brain to naturally solve to figure out for the answer by using the pattern method. I find that doing these two different types of things of breaking the large complex information and turning them into simple ideas and then turning those ideas into questions for my brain to figure out by putting all the pieces back together to get to the answer, I find it really helps me memorize Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu techniques techniques like crazy. The idea for this type of memorization process that I do is that it gets me constantly thinking and making connections throughout the whole time I do it. Because the more I can get my brain to think and make connections with the complex grappling material of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu techniques, the more likely I'm able to convince my brain to deem them valuable and have a higher chance for them to enter my long-term memory much faster and easier. That I don't feel stressed out or confused at the end of the process, that whatever grappling knowledge I just threw inside my head for the first time will stay long-term and will not be easily forgettable. That I feel very well prepared and excited to go put them to practice immediately whenever I get the chance to train at my gym. Anyways guys, let's get started.
Now we're looking at the idea of going into front triangles from a supine position. Previously, we looked at the idea of the clamp position. I want now to enlarge upon that and start to bring in the idea of wrist controls. Anytime.
Okay, so we're starting in guard. So that would be first, let's add the first situation. This is what I call a situational block, and it's the first one, which I will put a 1 in front of it. Situational blocks are a way to indicate different types of scenarios and applications that a technique can be used in the video tutorial. And timestamp is 0018. 18. As you know, timestamps are important to add at the end of the line of code. They are used as reference just in case of the line of code I wrote is too hard to decipher or that I completely forgot what it means during the reviewing process. This way I can save some time and energy looking for the part that I'm missing more easily. I'm gonna type step 1. And we're gonna try to explain this in more of a simple terms using these blocks. As you know, blocks are basically abbreviations that convey movement signifiers and any ideas I can use to relate and turn complex information into simple ideas. This is how I'll turn looking at this into a simple idea. I'm gonna start with go around block plus keep safe and secure. And I'll just say this. So to explain this, first the parentheses. The parentheses are basically easier to use as a way to group the blocks together when necessary, combining all the blocks into one block that are between the parentheses. So if there were no parentheses here, it will be 2 blocks. But since there is a parentheses, these 2 blocks go around and plus keep safe, they become like 1 block. This is to help with the organization of thinking. And for this specific block right here, I'm describing one of the legs, like going around and keeping safe behind the back. So I'm gonna add another block. And I'm gonna say, since and plus signs. Plus signs are your way to express the combining of blocks, meaning the combining of ideas together to guide the visualization and thinking into the right direction. So this is basically to express that, leading my brain to go forward of saying, okay, go around plus keep safe, go around plus keep safe. These 2 blocks combined together, what does that mean? And my brain does a great job of, during the reviewing process to say, oh, that means it's something's closing together because there's 2 blocks express that. And I'm gonna add a close the position block. Equal signs are to convey the outcome of the blocks, carrying over a single or combinations of ideas and lead the thinking and visualization of them to the main idea or bigger picture. And the bigger picture is its close position, and this equals to the idea of restraining something, and that's probably this guy right here. He's being restrained because of these 2 legs wrapped around his hips, and he's in the guard position. Now, I like to take my notes this way because it gets me thinking, right? Thinking and making connections is important, just like lifting weights, right? I would express it like this. If you were weightlifting, you're bench pressing, right? If, say, the bench press is too much information. Okay, too much information is basically, the idea is that if you make your notes having too much information. It's very clear, detailed, gives the answer right away. Then it's like your gym partner just took the weight off you and now they're doing like bicep curls with it. And you're not really benching the weight, the information. You're not gaining anything. It's hard to gain when your partner's doing all the work, which is your notes. Now, too little information is basically, it's just not enough. Like you can't go off by it. And that's basically when you're crushed with information. Like you just don't know where to go. This is like a way to say that it gives enough information. Just like you can dial it to the sweet spot of the right amount that gets your brain gaining because it's thinking and making connections effectively with the notes. I hope that makes sense. I just came up with that. Anyways, yeah, to me, this is enough information to express the close guard. Okay. And if in the future I review this card again and I try to read this first line of code and I can't figure it out, then I must feel like, oh yeah, that's too little information. Like I'm not recalling it. I might have to add more blocks to it to give more hints. Anyways, let's keep writing the code before I just go on a tangent. And this is the beginning. This is where we're starting. Okay.
Someone is in my guard. A classic form of triangle entry from a closed guard situation comes out of double wrist control. This is a move which has been around for eons and it's been very effective over the years. The idea is that if I have two of my training partner's wrists, I can push.
Okay, so we are starting with.
The idea is that if I.
Okay, so let's do 32. I would say this is a step 2 then.
If I have two of my training partner's wrists.
Okay, so we're starting off with 2 keep safe equals restrain. Okay, plus keep safe equals restrain equals PRP for prepare. So how I am interpreting this is how I read the code basically. Keep safe equals restrain. What does that mean? It means that this one arm right here for this parentheses is keeping safe and restraining this wrist right here, and this other block right here is saying the opposite too. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it, what it's saying. And this leads to the outcome of preparedness. You're preparing for something by restraining both of these wrists. I don't know what's coming up with next in this video, but that's where I'm trying to conclude it to.
I can push one wrist under the other and create a temporary situation.
Yeah, obvious. I mean, title just given triangle, one arm in, one arm out. That's a clear sign of a triangle being available. Okay, give me a second.
Push one wrist.
Okay. 0, 0, 36. This is step 3. Plus take opportunity, which is doing that motion of pulling towards this hand right here, plus sweet spot. So sweet spot is towards, John Danaher's head, or if I was in John Danaher's place, yeah, towards me. And then push away plus sweet spot. So pushing away to the sweet spot towards his chest.
Wrist under the other and create a temporary situation where I have the one in, one out. If I were to throw my
one in, one out. Nah, I don't think I need to make a block about that.
My legs up at this point.
Okay. 40. 0, 0. 44. Plus take opportunity equals else let go plus jump up plus go over, actually act quick, plus let go, jump over, go over, plus keep safe equals goals to position equals RA stay.
Point. Now, one arm would be outside my triangle and one arm would be inside, and from here I could go in and work. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay? It's one of those old venerable moves of the sport, which to this day can still have some success. But in truth, I've never really been a big fan of double wrist control to a triangle for an obvious reason. It does nothing whatsoever to control my opponent's posture. So there's a degree to which it relies on the naivety or the
Oh, okay. So we're just going off with the basic ideas, you know, this is the old kind of way of one arm in, one arm out, and going for a triangle. So this is the first situation that describes that. I want to make the second situation to John Danaher's version of how it should be done. So let's go.
or the laziness of my opponent to be effective.
I think he mentions this at 00111. Okay, that's a timestamp. So how do I express that it's doing the kind of old way is not effective as the new way that he's about to show me? How do I convert the information into simple ideas? You know what I mean? Simple ideas. This is a new step block. Well, first, I'm going to make a linking block. Linking blocks basically right here is how I make it. Situation 1 dash. It's gonna go from step 1 all the way to step 4. Actually, no. Step 3 to step 4. Yeah. Step 3 to. Oops. Oh, geez. To step 4. I think that's pretty much it. So this is my first linking block, and this is it's like a bookmark, right? Linking blocks are a way to link specific steps and sections of blocks together with other steps and sections throughout the code. So if I have a line of code that I want to continue my thinking and branch off from, linking blocks will help me do that. And I'm trying to branch off from these two things, these two sequences of line of code right here. Equals stay of mind, but only works if. Okay, I'll do that line of code. It only works if. I'm still trying to connect the dots here, okay? So it's less than the idea. Oh yeah, less than and greater signs are a way to indicate a conflict and relationships between the blocks. So this is basically a conflict of my way of expressing the conflict, and that is this move. Hold on, let me just figure out.
Okay, if I have both of my training partner's wrists and he's alert to the idea of a triangle, as I push in, he should be posturing up, and that will make it very difficult for me to get into it.
Oh yeah, equals plus reasons why equals. Well, I did make a block that express. Actually no, never mind. Reasons why is less than anticipate opponent equals posture POS 2. Reason why I add a number there in front of this block is to indicate that's my opponent's doing. Okay, so my opponent is player 2. This guy is player 2. He's posturing up, which is, let's just try to read the code. Let me explain my code right here. Step 1, this is the old way of pushing the arm, one arm in, one arm out, and this only works if my partner or my rolling buddy or competitor is not that experienced. That's the reason why right here, this block. And that's less than anticipate opponent equals posture, because my opponent postures. You anticipating the opponent to posture up like this, what deems the old way ineffective. I hope that makes sense.
Into an effective triangle. What's required here is that my opponent stay down in a position where from here I can get my knee over his shoulder. Remember, anytime you go to penetrate with the foot over the shoulder, my knee, the hollow of my knee must go at least as high as the shoulder to make for an effective lock. If my opponent postures up at the exact moment that I push in the wrist, now I'm only going ankle deep, and as a result, no triangle.
Okay, how will I convert that information
Anytime you go to penetrate
into a simple idea?
The foot over the shoulder, my knee, the hollow of my knee must...
144. Okay, 143 equals more effective equals go over plus keep safe plus sweet spot. Oops. Plus sweet spot is less than, yeah, I think that should be enough. So if you notice that this line of code doesn't have a step block in front of it, well, this becomes part of the step block that's above it. So any line of code that doesn't have a step block in front of it automatically falls under the step block above it. So this line of code becomes part of step 1, and it honestly becomes a section, which is a part of a step. They are lines of code, and the first section is always the line of code with a step block in front of it. So this is the first section right here, and this is the second section. And this idea, this line of code relates to the above it. You know what I mean? This is part of above it. So if I go to review this line of code and I'm like, state of mind, more effective equals go over, keep safe, sweet spot. What does that mean? And I can't really think about top of my head. Then I would jump up to the next line and be like, well, how does this line of code relate to this line of code? And I just keep thinking about it, right? I'm thinking, yeah, they're talking about the old way and anticipate and the old way doesn't work, which is less sign because they anticipate posture up too. So how this relate? And I'm thinking more effective. What's more effective? And it says go over, keep safe, sweet spot. And I'm thinking, oh, and if I can click my brain into filling the missing gaps that these blocks are giving me, then hopefully my thinking and visualization will be leading to this idea that this leg's supposed to be connecting over his shoulder, and this is more effective situation, right? You want to be in this situation. You don't want to try to lock up when your opponent's posturing up, and this makes sense right here. So with this right amount of information that I'm giving myself as hints, like I said, it's like playing that game where you hold up a word or picture above your forehead and you don't know what the word or picture is, so you rely on the other players to help you figure it out. That's basically what I'm doing to myself when I make these blocks to be used for coding a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu techniques. I'm only giving myself enough information to nudge my thinking into the right direction until it leads me to the answer.
Must go at least as high as the shoulder to make for an effective lock. If my opponent postures up at the exact moment that I push in the wrist, now I'm only going ankle deep, and as a result, no triangle. Because of this, I've always greatly preferred collar tie and wrist over double wrist ties. What I like to do is to go in and secure my opponent's one wrist by going across and feeding his wrist with my bicep. Okay?
Okay. So this is 2 of 6. Two plus.
Okay? So he has double biceps here. I put my hand in and I feed his wrist using my bicep.
Okay.
Okay? So he has double biceps.
Oh, okay. So let's explain. Let's do a non-linking block, because this time the opponent is posturing in both biceps, which wasn't there before. So we're gonna start off with the first linking block. Never mind this linking block. I'm gonna link this right here. Okay. Step 1, situation 1 I meant, down to step 1 line of code. And all the blocks are basically, oh no, and it's section 1, and there's obviously only one section here. Section 1, and it's every block in that section. Plus anticipate opponent equals go over plus keep safe 2 plus go over plus keep safe 2. I mean, keep safe, I think he's posting the spot too, because yeah, technically are posting in a way using those hands to restrain the bicep down, pushing it down and keeping yourself up at the same time. So you are posting plus keeping safe. This is how I would express it.
Biceps here, I put my hand in.
Okay, to 17. Okay, so he's doing that thing. This is step 3. Transition plus go under plus,
and I feed his wrist using my bicep.
Okay, make use of the bicep equals go over plus push away plus sweet spot. That's how I'm expressing using the bicep.
My bicep, so I can go 2 on 1.
Okay.
Now,
okay, so you technically transition, go under, plus keep safe. Yep. Let me just add that block. Push spot, sweet spot equals take opportunity, goes 2 on 1. Okay, straight. Take opportunity equals 2 on 1. There you go. That's what's basically what it means. Anyways,
so I can go 2 on 1.
Equals prepare. This is equals restrain equals prepare.
Now, once I get the 2 on 1 grip, I take my hand.
Oh, okay. 225. This one. 225. Step 4. There we go. Take opportunity equals let go.
And inside Mateus's. And then from here, I pull him with my legs a little, and I take.
Oh, okay. Let go plus go around plus keep safe. Okay, let's just make that motion right there as into one block. We're gonna pull towards. Pull towards plus hold down in equals close the distance. So this one right here equals let go, go around, keep safe behind his neck, and then pulling it towards, holding him down and closing this gap right here.
Collar tie and single wrist. My left arm has the inside position. My elbow is inside Mateus's elbow. When he goes to posture up, it's almost impossible to get away from that collar tie.
Goes to situation greater than warning equals warning equals the posture. Yeah, I'll link it to this right here. Okay, goes situation 2 dash. Actually, you know, I don't have to do linking block. I just type pause and 2 next to it.
It's there for a long enough period of time to go into a triangle. Now, make a strong arm. From here, I'm going to physically push his wrist.
252. 252. All right. Okay. Let's start with step 5. Take opportunity equals push away plus sweet spot. He's pushing the arm away into that sweet spot close to his chest.
Into his sternum.
Or sternum, yeah.
Now from this position, sorry buddy. From this position here, we're going to take our leg and go over the top of our training partner's leg. My second foot goes on my training partner's hip, and that gives me the height.
Oh, okay. Hold on, wait, let me just...
From this position, sorry buddy. From this position here, we're going to take our leg and go.
Okay. 259 right there. Step 6.
Over the top of.
I'm gonna add the restraining thing right there. Okay, restrain. Take opportunity equals let go plus post spots equals kickstand. And I'm hoping you guys can guess why I wrote what does this mean. Yes, this means that left leg right there is let go of the guard, is posted on the hip, and is being used as a kickstand to give more leverage to bring that hip up higher, to bring that leg over his shoulder.
Of our training partner's leg. My second foot goes on my training partner's hip, and that gives me the height to go knee deep up.
307. 307. Step 7 plus C equals hip up plus go over plus keep safe equals situation 2. As you know, from here, right here, state of mind, more effective, go over, keep safe. This is more effective because it's over the shoulder. So I'm just gonna make sure that's like a nice hint for me when I'm reading this line of code to be like, oh, how jump, hip over, go over, keep safe. How is this related to this linking block that connects to this part? And eventually my brain will be like, oh, eureka, I get it. So it's under step 1. So step 1 right here, and it's on the second section right there, section 2, and it's every block included. There you go.
Up to my training partner's neck. When he goes to yank away, you have the collar tie and you're sufficiently far.
Equals restrain plus restrain equals hold position. So arms restrain, this is restraining. Yeah, he's not getting out easily.
Over the neck to ensure that you get a good bite on that initial triangle entry. Now, as always from here, the hand goes all the way through in front.
223. That was pretty smooth what he just did there. Step 8. Take opportunity equals, he almost did like a pendulum kind of thing. I want to do transition plus go under plus keep safe. That's what he did with his arm right here. Pull towards equals close the distance plus knock towards. So pulling towards is closing the distance right here. And he knocking him towards this way.
And we're in the perfect position to control his posture, bring that wedge in behind his head, and then lock out the figure of.
Oh shoot. Okay.
As always from here, the hand goes all the way through in front.
Close sense plus this leg right here. It just swung around. I'll just say SAR. Swing around. Okay, I hope I don't have a block that is using this abbreviation. I'll go check later on, but let's just give it that swing around. Let go plus swing around. There we go. Equals prefer position. There we go. That's good.
And we're in the perfect position to control his posture, bring that wedge in behind his.
327. Okay, 327. Take opportunity equals go over plus keep safe equals restrain plus state of mind. State of mind is just imagine something similar to something. So I'm looking at his legs. It just looks like kind of dancing or doing some kind of, I don't know, just his legs remind me of some sort of dance. Okay, so it's like locked up like a dance, and that's how I'm kind of imagining it.
Behind his head, and then lock up the figure of...
Oh, okay, yeah. So 331. 331. Step 10 equals, okay. As you guys can tell, I've been using a lot of take opportunity block. I don't know, it's just what I went with, I guess. I don't know why I used a lot of that block. Equals go over plus keep safe equals close the position plus make tight, because that looks tight as heck.
4 in a way where we go directly into the stranglehold. Once again,
equals attack. Okay, that's really pretty much it right here. Let's see, hold on. I'm gonna watch the rest of the video. Hopefully, maybe he'll add more details. Who knows?
Creates an immediate strength.
Okay, no, that was just like a recap of everything he just showed us. So anyways, after I finally converted all of the information that I learned from this video tutorial right here into this code form, having the new information fresh in my head, to prevent this new information from spoiling, the last process I do is that I use the Anki app to help me review and increase my retention of the information by using a method called spaced repetition. That way I don't have to worry about forgetting what I just memorized. It could be weeks to months to even years. It wouldn't matter, because this method will make sure I won't forget it in the long run, as long as I'm consistent with it, of course. So let's just add this card right here. So now it's in my queue in this Anki app. To give like a little brief way of how I review the information. So how I review the information is that whenever I open this Anki app and this card happens to pop up for review, not this card, the next card is probably waiting in queue right now, but just pretend that this video is this card. This is YouTube Steven Kesting passing Nisho to half guard. How I would review the information is that whenever I open this card, I immediately reveal the back of the card and start trying to read and decipher the code. So basically like this. Step 1, and I'm just trying to visualize and think and figure out what does this mean, and all of a sudden if I figure out the answer, then I keep moving down to the next one and just try basically recalling the information and letting these blocks give me hints until finally figure out the answer in my head. And I'm just visualization, going through the movement of and trying to decipher the code. And if I'm being able to decipher all this code right here that I find satisfying enough, then I would, you know, press one of these buttons right here. These are all interval. And if I feel like I was successful in my review of being able to read all this code, then I would type good. It won't come back 3 months later. No, if I failed to read and decipher the code, then I decrease the interval. And it could be either this, it's hard, maybe I was missing a few lines of code that I completely forgot or just have a struggle to remember. Then I would press hard, you know, because I think maybe by the time 1.7 months come by, I'll remember those missing parts. Or if I completely, like I did horrible, you know, maybe I missed 50% of the information. Maybe I just wasn't able to read even half of this line of codes right here of this card. Then I'll press again, it'll come back 15 minutes later and I'll have to start back to day 1 again. And that's basically how it works. And so far I found great results with using this method of spaced repetition to help me review my knowledge on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tutorials. So I'll make a separate video of just exclusively showing you guys how I review the information. So hopefully you guys stick around. Anyways, guys, that's really it for the video. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for watching.